And I welcome you all to this annual important budget discussion that we hold every year. But of course, for the last 2 years, we are holding it in a very special situation, one that we are holding online. And that also makes the situation is very different, situation is abnormal. And this is the context in which the budget, I guess, have to be also evaluated. That we are not in a new normal situation. The economy is not normal. The social situation is not normal. And of course, we are going through the most difficult phase, of our independent history, I guess. Many people believe that. The current year, we have seen a reasonably good recovery. GDP has been gone up, but this is with respect to a low base, so there is hardly any cause for celebration. Now, in the next year, we would not have this luxury of low base. So obviously, the stimulants, the growth stimulants have to be very, very good and effective. Otherwise, maintaining this 8-9% growth would be difficult. That is one aspect. So the budget has to be growth stimulating. Second aspect is that we all know that over the last couple of years, the inequality has also gone up substantially. Now, coupled with that, the fact that our GDP remains the same as it used to be a couple of years back, and inequality has increased. That means a lot of people have, gone down substantially in their income level and, of course, their consumption level. So, along with being growth stimulant, we have to give, if you say, healing touch to suffering people. People are still suffering. Now, the budget has to be evaluated from, these two, criteria, whether you are living up to those two expectations. It is, of course, one, I would appreciate the finance minister that she has at least, avoided the temptation of being fiscally prudent, which is the buzzword now. I would not say she has dumped the goal, but she has not gone too far with fiscal prudence. And that's where I think, we have debated a bit from the so-called neoliberal agenda, which swept the world for 2-3 decades, but which have taken a backseat now. All countries, developed countries, are also dumping it, and they are accepting bigger government role and fiscal management, not just about fiscal prudence. So, there has not been a strong effort to reduce fiscal deficit, which I think is the need of the hour. This is not the time to go for that consolidation. We can tolerate a bit of fiscal profligacy at this juncture, considering the economic situation. Second thing is that the budget has given huge emphasis on infrastructure, which again is not a bad idea. We all know that India has infrastructure deficit, which has been affecting our competitiveness. So, taking that as an important agenda is good. But will that really make huge impact in terms of stimulating growth? That still remains a question. Even though, as I said, infrastructure development is a good idea, the social impact of that might not be that equal because these days infrastructure is built with a lot of capital and less of labor. Secondly, a part of that would be requiring import consumption. So the demand created by these infrastructure projects will be linked to foreign countries. So there would be some risk of that. So given this, what I found a bit surprising that MG Narega allocation did not go up. In fact, it got reduced substantially. If you look at the current year revised estimate, not the allocation. Now we know current year revised allocation had to go up because government was keen that those who went for reverse migration to villages, they need this, social assistance. So government actually increased much more than what was budgeted initially. So that, of course, that step of the government should be appreciated. But the question is, has that need gone over now? We still have, problem of employment or not? Now, if we still have that problem of employment, especially in rural areas, then possibly it would have been better to, increase allocation or at least keep at the same level, of this current year. Second aspect, I also saw that, we have Professor Saxena who might touch upon this, and even Professor Mahajan. Agriculture sector, many experts believe, has not been given due attention. Although some infrastructure scheme within agriculture have been taken up, and some budget restructuring of the schemes have been taken up, but will that be enough? And of course, we have seen that fertilizer subsidy has also gone down. Now, when fertilizer subsidy has gone down and other ways of assisting the agriculture has not been taken up, this can work as a dampener to agriculture. You might have good objective of reducing subsidy and assisting agriculture through other means, but that's not very clear. Secondly, I also see a budget cut in procurement and food subsidy, which also indirectly affect the agriculture and the rural economy at large. Then the budget also talked about long-term priorities, and finance minister talked about Amrit Kalam. That is fine. We should have long-term objective, long-term strategies in mind. But we had been going through Rahu Kalam. Have we been out of that by now? If not, then the short-term situation also and the short-term measures also probably needed better attention. Second thing is that this is not the first time finance minister has been emphasizing long-term strategies and long-term objectives. But some experts have also said that the long-term strategies that we are talking this year, are they consistent with the long-term strategies we talked 1 year back or 2 years back? And also, if we keep on changing our long-term strategies every year, then also you might have some problems. And of course, CSD is always keen that social sector budget allocation improves and there are good utilization. And that means education, health, these are also important priorities. And by now we all know that, only physical infrastructure cannot ensure development of a country, not even growth, not just not development, but even growth does not occur. Growth and development are of course different, but even growth does not occur unless you take adequate care of education and health sector. And we have seen that our health sector infrastructure is, grossly inadequate. Our COVID, pandemic has shown that, and we have seen, it became clear two aspects that our infrastructure is poor. For example, we have just 5 hospital beds for 10,000 population, which is lower than even Bangladesh. Forget about countries like Vietnam. more importantly, where in Vietnam there are about 30 hospitals bed per 10,000 population, and almost all are in public sector. In our case, more than half are in actually private sector. And in Vietnam, they have, of course, very vibrant private sector healthcare, but that's largely confined to tertiary healthcare. In India, we have got private everywhere, primary to tertiary everywhere, and primary healthcare of private sector mostly kind of informal, no control on quality of care and all those things. So this creates a huge problem for us. Secondly, education also, we have seen the problems, and last 2 years, education being off from the government or even our public agenda, it needs better attention. But has that got the due attention that it deserves? These are important questions. Those need to be discussed. And another aspect of this budget was a huge emphasis on digitalization. But we have also seen that digital education has touched only about 10% of the population. 90% people could not access it due to their own problems. So that means people are not ready for, overwhelming section of our population are not ready for this kind of digital push. So given that, would it be fair and equitable to give so much of digital push? And physical infrastructures in schools should be ignored. And we all know that, children is not about, children education is not about giving them some lessons. It's also about making them socially oriented, making them socially, capable. So that would not happen online, So especially school education, digital push might not be a good idea in my view. So I would like to hear first. Another aspect I found, Finance Minister gave good emphasis that river interlinking project. Now, the river projects that we have, whether it is Vakra Nangal or in South India or Damodar Valley corporations, are they working to the level they were expected or they were planned, or they created unintended consequences, that can be political. States are fighting with each other, communities are fighting with each other. That's a political problem, social problem. Then we see the status of Jamuna River. The river is dead. So by interlinking, will we kill some rivers? These are important agenda, important questions which are not yet debated, discussed thoroughly in the country. Now, without that, taking up such big ticket projects, are they, good enough? Should we accept, adopt such projects? I have some question mark on that. So to discuss all this, we have few eminent experts. Professor Dubey, who was supposed to chair this session, he has joined, but did not respond. But good morning and welcome you, sir. To chair this session, we have Professor Biswajit Dhar, who kindly lead at the last moment. So we are thankful to him. Professor Dhar is professor at Jawaharlal Nehru University, in many important positions like DGRIS, and he is also vice president of CSD governing body. We also have Professor Atul Sharma. So apart from being a professor in prestigious ISI, Indian Statistical Institute, and vice chancellor at Rajiv Gandhi University, Itanagar, he also was in Finance Commission, and so his understanding of these issues are very good. So we have Professor Atul Sharma. We have Professor Ashwini Mahajan, who apart from being a professor is also convener of Swadeshi Jagran Manch, and where people think that Swadeshi Jagran Manch is a bit sympathetic to the government, but I have seen Professor Mahajan being absolutely critical of government policies and budgets, wherever he thinks that it deserves. So we welcome Professor Mahajan, and he has been joining us for several years. We have Professor Indranil Mukhopadhyay, who is teaching at Jindal Global University, and he is relatively young, and so we have young blood also in this discussion, and it's good to hear from young people also, because Finance Minister is talking about 25 years horizon. Some of us probably would not be there to see those days, but hope Professor Mukherjee and others will stay. So hearing their viewpoints would be important. And of course, we have Professor K.V. Saxena, who has held important positions in government, including in Planning Commission. Currently, he is distinguished professor at CSD and contributing to CSD activities on agriculture and social inclusion issues. So he will also have his observations on the budget. With that, I will hand over the floor to Professor Biswajit Dhar to chair the session. Professor Biswajit Dhar, thank you, and please take it over.